Man, I'm honestly getting a little bit scared, so I set up the second angle right here to ensure that we get a double angle. Just in case the thing does snap, I want you guys to be able to see the full effect of it just going on me, but hopefully it does not do that. So let's go back over to this half pipe right now, and
let's get this flare.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another scooter video. Today we're out mowing grass, which is kind of weird because we're not actually scootering, but the two worlds collide, scootering and mowing grass, which is two things I do every day because we found a scooter in the garbage next to a house that we are mowing, and I'm gonna try to use this thing, fix it up a little bit, and make it into a nice scooter and see what kind of tricks we can send on it. I'm honestly probably way more stoked than I should be about getting this Razor scooter because, well, it's not every single day that I get to ride a Razor scooter. Usually I'm on my Rapture Pro scooter and just, you know, feeling comfortable on it, not really having to worry about parts falling apart. But for some reason, Razor scooters have always fascinated me. It's probably because it was my first scooter, you know, as a little scooter boy back like 12, 13, maybe 14 years ago now. I was on my Razor scooter, the little foldable kind, learning my 360s, learning my tailwhips and all that good stuff. That's where the roots are. So every single time I see a Razor scooter, you know, just sitting on the side of the street, I can't help but do a double take it and be like, man, I want to take it up. Sure enough, today kind of just worked out, and then we saw this thing in the garbage right next to a property we were mowing, and we're currently in the Rapture workshop right now, and I got some grips over here, some tools on the table, and I should be able to take apart the entire scooter and fix it all up. And then we'll be able to take it on the backyard half pipe and get some cool tricks on it. For starters, before we even dive into fixing the scooter up to make sure it's even rideable, let's first do a diagnostic check on it and make sure that there's no cracks or nothing crazy that's gonna prevent the scooter from even being fixable to the point where if I send a trick on it, I'm not just gonna die. Pretty much for starters, I'm just gonna look for any cracks, make sure in the common areas like on the head tubes and stuff, there's no crazy cracks. Look like we're pretty good right there, but those welds by no means are looking that safe. It kind of just looks like it's been just barely even holding on. That doesn't look too trustworthy. But everything else, another common area on these things, they usually break right here. The bowl's not too bad. I see no bending or anything, so that's the main first sign that says these scooters should no longer be rode. The next important spot is gonna be up here on the handlebars. We want to check right between here on the welds, make sure there's no cracks, and we look pretty solid. Now with the basic diagnostic out of the way, we've made sure that the scooter is good to go, and it's at least going to be safe enough for me to actually, you know, try to fix up and try to at least ride around. I don't know how many big tricks I'm going to be able to send on it, but we'll see what happens. But now it's more to the important part, which is the back end back here. I don't really know what's going on with the booty back here. I don't know if this is like a little manual helper, or if it's like some kind of concrete destroyer. But we're gonna remove that as fast as we can because I feel like that could do some damage to either my shin or the half pipe.
A few moments later.
After doing a little bit of research, I finally figured out what the heck this is. This is a chalk drawler. So basically when you're riding the scooter at the skate park, the idea of this is you're gonna put chalk in these little springs right here, and then as you press down, it's gonna make chalk lines, which I'm sure everybody at the skate park would absolutely love to see. Chalk lines from coming out of a scooter, which yeah, but nonetheless it's on here, so we gotta remove it before we even attempt to do anything crazy. I think I'm gonna have to end up lopping off the back end because as you guys can see, the axle for this thing is like way up here, but then there's like an extra 4 inches of metal, so we're gonna have to bust out the angle grinder and see what we can work out. Oh, that's not gonna be it. As you can see, Razor went really dumb with this route, and instead of just making it like the standard, you know, 5mm axle back here, they decided to put this little thing on here, which is gonna be a pain in the absolute butt to take off. I might just end up literally just chopping this right now. I haven't decided yet. I'll let you guys know as soon as I make a decision. Okay, we're just cutting it off. I don't have the right tool to get that thing off, and clearly a screwdriver and a hammer is not gonna do the trick, so it's time to bust out the angle grinder. Wait, before we just start hacking away at this thing, let's keep things kind of professional. I'm just kidding. No matter how unprofessional the scooter is, I still have to do the scooter justice and actually make these lines kind of straight. That way, I'm not just going by the seat of my pants. Ah, that's much better now. Now I got my actual line, and this thing will actually be a lot better. Okay, now it's time to start going cutting crazy. Wow, while I was cutting that down, this piece just fell out, and this is the spacer. The spacer is made out of plastic. I'm getting more sketched out the more deeper I get into the scooter. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this last side cut off right there. I'm not gonna lie, this is probably one of the sketchiest cut down jobs I've ever done in my entire life, but we gotta cut down now, and the axle is, you know, still straight. But before we strap this wheel back on, let me just file off these edges just a little bit, because just in case it does nick my leg, I don't want to have be gushing blood. That's good enough, nothing too crazy, just file down the edges so we're not gonna get crazy chopped off. Let's go ahead and put this back wheel back on right now. Perfect, the back wheel's on now. Now let's move on to the headset up here. We're taking a quick Razor scooter intermission break because I just realized it's almost 7 o'clock and the sun sets here in Ohio currently at 7 o'clock. It is currently 6:50, which means the sun sets in 10 minutes. That means I have 10 minutes to get one cool line for you guys real quick, and also because I haven't rode it all today, I wanna do it for myself. Oh, that really hurt. Let's redo that. You guys are gonna have to excuse the sketch on that one. That was the first time I've touched my scooter all day. I've been riding a mower, mowing grass all day long. So first ride on the scooter, not too bad, minus the little hip bust on there. But anyways, let's go back into the garage now and work on that Razor scooter so we can hopefully get it up and running for tomorrow. We're back in the Raptor garage now, and we're gonna get back to the scooter. But before we do, I guess I'll show you an update that I made to the back end back here. I made it a lot more cleaner just because I couldn't stand leaving it like half like nicked up and stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the headset now. As you guys can see, it has a lot of play and a lot of shake, mainly coming from the bolts on here, which I can't really do anything about. But I can, however, do something about this headset shake. Now the way to fix this headset is we're gonna take off the bars right here, pull these off, and get rid of this headset shake right here. Most of the time these two bolts come loose, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna tighten this down all the way, and then we're gonna use this other nut as a locking nut right here to act as like kind of the compression point. Normally with like, if you guys are riding IHC or HIC or SCS, there's something physically going over this fork to compress and pull this headset together. But right here, we got the threads, and as it threads down, that's actually what is literally compressing this headset. Yeah, I know I'm going into way too much detail on this because I'm sure most of you guys have probably seen what threaded compression is, but for those of you guys who have clicked on this video because you're maybe just watching a Razor scooter video, that right there is how you tighten your headset and get rid of that headset shake. Just like that, now the headset spins, but there's no longer that little shake and play inside of that head tube. Also, quick note, I cannot believe that they started using integrated headset cups into the Razor scooters. Now the bearings inside are not sealed, but I'm still very impressed that they integrated the cups because that's just something that you see not on beginner level scooters. Now before we put the bars back on, I'm going to do one little add-on that these bars should come with stock because as you guys can tell, look how wide these are. Literally 11 inches. That's barely enough for even my hands to hold on to. So what we're going to do right here is we're going to add on these bar extenders. These now are MGP bar extenders. I've had these for years now. I think I got them on like a VX4, something crazy old from back in like 2015 or something. But I used to actually make bar extenders, and when these things came out, I was like, whoa, these are the coolest things ever. Now these things were like way too heavy to actually add on to any scooter, so for me personally, I never really rode them, so I always just stuck to my own personal bar extenders. But for this right here, it seems like a perfect thing to put them on, and then I can actually put grips on and actually hold on to something that's not that tiny. If there's any Razor bar fans, you guys might want to look away right now. Check that out. We're now rocking 15 wide. That's a big jump from 11 inches. Now we actually have some control that we can hold on to, so hopefully we can now get some really cool tricks on this scooter. How cool is that? We got the back end customized now, and we got the Rapture grips on. This thing is looking mighty fine. And look at that width on those bars. Now I'll be able to actually do some bar spins. Before, with the bars only like this wide, bar spins are not even a thing. But wow, I'm so stoked. This thing's actually reminding me quite a bit of my very first scooter that I ever had. I used to actually even ride the bars at this height right here. Now that's actually literally at my knee. No joke, that was the height I used to ride it. This, in fact, is my very first scooter that I ever had. Now let's do a little quick comparison real quick. Look at that shine difference, man. All that nasty rust and then that nice shine. And then also with the whole scooter being that short, it was literally at my knees. But back then I was a lot shorter, so the scooter didn't feel so tiny at the time. But now in today's date, I think I'd be breaking my back if I tried to ride this. But check this out. There used to actually be a bolt down here that we could tighten and loosen to adjust how much shake we had in this head tube right here. It was kind of crazy. I'd always try to crank this thing as far as I could just to minimize the shake so it'd be locked at this angle. It probably used to be like a 75-degree head tube angle as opposed to what we ride right now, which is like 83 degrees. But this one's a little bit more secure right now, at least for right now, because I haven't actually rode it yet. But we're going to go ahead and test it out tomorrow and see how it goes. For you guys, it's going to be like 2 seconds of editing, but for me, it's going to be an entire day. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.
24 hours later.
I should not be as excited as I am right now, but I just got off work and I am just so stoked to get a ride this bad boy. I've been waiting for it all day long. But before we get riding on this Razor, let me get warmed up real quick on my own personal scooter just to make sure that I actually got my tricks dialed in, so when it comes to riding on the Razor, I'm not just going in blind and just like break it first go. I've been really digging putting my GoPro up on my helmet while I'm getting my warm up because it prevents me from having to set up different angles and kind of take away from the warm up while getting clips, because I can just put you guys around my head, get the clip while I'm doing the warm up. Start from the top. I always like to pick a line and see what we can do here. Starting off with a buttercup. Get a foot jam. Wow, that probably wasn't the smartest move to do a flare whip before actually doing a flare, but for some reason the scoot's feeling really good today. Let's get back in there. Okay. Your boy spoke way too soon. That's what I get for talking too much too early. Run it back. There we go. Yeah. Feeling pretty good so far. I'm digging this warm up. Take it back to the top. Let's get a good old super. Kind of staying in the same family of the Superman. Let's get a heel finger whip. That was monk. It's been about 5 minutes so far, and I think it's time now for the 540 flare. We've been doing them pretty consistent in just about every single video I've posted for the past couple weeks. So let's see if we can knock this one out first try. With a side note of being just warming up. If I can get this right now, I'm gonna say I have them decently consistent, so we're getting better at this trick for sure. But we gotta land it first. Oh. Apparently they're not as consistent as I thought they were. Attempt number 2. Yeah. That felt good. Now that's what I'm talking about. We managed to correct it on the second one because I knew exactly what I did wrong on the first one. That's honestly the first steps to knowing that you're learning a trick and getting it down dialed, because as long as you can correct it the second time and make sure it's actually good because you know what you've done wrong on the first one, that's just one step closer to getting the trick completely dialed. But anyways, super legit warm-up session. I'm feeling pretty good on my own personal scooter, so I think that's time to hop on the Razor now. Things are about to get really sketchy, but before we do that, I gotta show you guys a before and after of what the scooter looked like before when we first got it to what it looks like now. So cue that cinematic edit. And just like that, it's time to officially drop in for the first time on this Razor. Let's get it. It passed the drop-in test. Now we can actually get to some cooler tricks. Maybe add in some tail whips and maybe some bar spins too. I was honestly gonna be so sad if this thing snapped literally on the drop-in after fixing it up and spending an entire day working on fixing the scooter up just to make sure it's rideable. But we know it can at least drop in now, so that means we can at least send some tricks on this quarter pipe over here. Now you guys might be thinking, man, you're a baby, dude. It's just a scooter, just drop in and send tricks. We used to send backflips on these things. Yes, that's true, but I know I found this thing in the garbage and these things are not meant to be sending tricks on. So in the past, when I've rode Razor scooters, they've either been a one-piece head tube or the bolt somehow like stuck in there and it like, it fastened it a little bit more so there wasn't this crazy shaking going on. So this really is one of those true like Razor feeling scooters. So when we send tricks on it, it's gonna be a little bit fearful. I'm gonna attempt each trick with some hesitation. But let's go ahead and try a tail up and see if we can get it first tee. I'm gonna go a little slow. Okay, we can do that. Definitely can feel the pressure in the head tube. I'm gonna try to limit my tricks on this thing just because I don't want to completely snap it or bend it before we get to try anything too crazy. My goal is to flare it. Now I want to send enough tricks on this thing to get comfortable riding it, but I don't want to send too many tricks on this thing where I break it before I actually get to do the flare. So fingers crossed, we do just enough tricks to, feel comfy on it without snapping it all the way. But up next, I want to send a double whip because that single whip felt pretty good. Let's get it. Oh yeah, okay, that felt really good. That came around super easy, but I think my alignment is slowly starting to shift just because of this little single bolt clamp. So let me bust out the 5 real quick, give you a quick tighten before we move on. Now we're good. All right, we're gonna go ahead and set the second angle now because this is when things start to get a little sketchy as we start to get a little bit more comfortable on this thing and we start to send harder tricks. This is probably gonna be where the scooter kind of sees its slow death, but from this point right here, get ready because it's gonna start to get fun. At least I hope, fingers crossed. Let me first make sure this headset's not too loose. Good, we're good, okay. I remember doing that all the time when I was younger, just constantly tightening my headset just from because it would just always come loose. The threaded headsets are just not the way. But let's get this triple whip now. First tee, what's up? I really have to absorb my landings because as you guys can probably see as I land, it's it comes down to an 80-degree or maybe even a 75-degree head tube angle on the landing. So I'm really having to absorb it so the aluminum doesn't just completely snap. But that felt good. We've proven that this thing can get some whips down, but now I want to try some grinds and see how it grinds and then maybe work our way up to briflips and buttercups. Oh, it kicks out really funky. Bar spin? Okay, it can. Oh, I think I lost the bar and no, I lost the little nose blunt plate. Okay, back in there. Now let's try a nose blunt since we got the nose blunt plate back in there. It can be nose blunted. That's funny. And also, I cannot stand this little clamp right here. I literally snagged my knee on it 10 times now. I've only even rode it 5 times. I'm feeling more confident than I probably showed on this thing, but I think we're finally ready for the briflip. Let's get it. Oh, first tee. What is going on? I guess because this thing is just literally so light, it just tosses around and it lets you manipulate it in the air like it's nothing. But the landing is definitely the sketchiest part. But I guess next, the buttercup? Yeah, I guess that would be the next step up, wouldn't it? I gotta practice this motion one more time. Actually, 2 more times. Oh goodness, this thing will be an axe literally coming out my shins if it hits me, so please don't do that. I feel like I need more speed this time because I want to go higher so I can absorb it a little bit better. Let's just give it heck. First tee, that's what's up. Scooter's feeling pretty good, but I can definitely tell that head tube is slowly working its way back just because the bars are sitting a little bit farther in my lap each time I ride it. But man, now it's time to get a solid line because we got the buttercup and the briflip out of the way. And I'm just gonna send a flare inside of a line because I really don't want to send more than one flare on this crazy thing. Before I send that flare, I gotta do one quick diagnostic check one more time. Make sure that there's nothing crazy bending or anything, nothing that's about to snap on me. You guys may not be able to tell this, but I'm actually really afraid to do this flare just because I've seen so many videos of these things just straight up snapping. And also from my own personal experience, these things just fail right here at the head tube and you end up like this. And then, yeah, that just isn't fun. But let's hopefully not do that. And but we look good. Everything so far functioning well. I was a little worried about these plastic spacers back here, but they seem to be holding up just fine. No cracks yet. Yet is the key word. But yeah, I think we're good to go. Let's go ahead and just get it. Okay, that was not a good start. We took off the little handlebar thing right there. That right there is why I hate that thing. All right, let's get it now. I honestly can't believe that came around as easy as it did. I mean, I'm still like mind blown that I even sent that and I got it first try. And the scooter itself is still holding up strong. The head tube's definitely bending back a little bit farther. I can tell just by when I ride it. It just feels like it's in my lap a little bit more. But I think we should send an X game mode run on this thing where I just link in a whole bunch of tricks together, as many as I can, and just see if this thing can hold up to it. Second angle set up. Let's get it. I forgot how sensitive these little brakes are back here. I just barely tapped that thing with my back foot on the way down and just got completely bodied on this thing. But overall, pretty solid line. I'm really stoked that I got everything into it together. The fakie was just kind of a throwaway just to see if I could get it. But instead of doing the whole entire line again, because I honestly don't think the scooter's gonna be able to hold up to that, I'm just gonna go ahead and try the fakie again and get redemption on that, just so I can also save my butt, because that actually really hurt. I'm even wearing my butt pads and it still got me. Redemption time. Let's see if we can get it. Ew. Taking that all day. We conquered the fakie. That was so sick. I'm so excited how well this session's gone with this razor. Honestly, before starting this session, I was a little afraid to even say I want to flare the thing, just because I wasn't for sure if it was gonna be a letdown. But overall, man, it was just so much fun. I'm not for sure why. It's just such a blast to come back to the razor scooters and ride them. Maybe because they were such a huge part of my like growing up when I was learning to ride. It was just razor, you know, that's what it was back then, back in like 2000s, early 2000s. That's what we rode. We rode the razor foldable scooters, and that's just what I learned on. So when it comes to riding our more professional scooters like my Rapture Pro scooter over there, it's just like a whole nother game changer. The level that these new kids get to start out with is just so much farther advanced than what, you know, us riders like back 10, 15 years ago got to start out on. It's really crazy to see how much the sport has progressed. It's really cool, and it's really awesome to see the younger riders being inspired by older riders, like even like myself. If you guys ever find inspiration from my videos, it really warms my heart to know that you guys, you know, appreciate it. And I just love sharing these videos with you guys, because I love looking back also on these videos and watching and be like, man, I flared a razor scooter. That's something I would have never thought I would have done back when I was riding the razor foldable scooters. It just didn't even seem possible back then, but it is. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and hop back on my own personal scooter, because I can't end the session on the razor. If I end the session on the razor, my next session is gonna feel really whacked. I know this is gonna be absolutely brutal, because the scooter is gonna feel like it's a 90-degree head tube angle, just because it's such a different feeling than the razor scooters. But let's go hop back on there. Oh my gosh, it literally feels like I'm riding a square. Like if you were to picture like the base of this being the bottom and this being like a square right angle, that's literally what the scooter feels like compared to that razor. I'm gonna go ahead and force myself to do one last solid line, because like I said before, I can't end on the razor scooter. My next session will feel too weird. Bar spinner sketch. Oh, that doesn't feel right. Let's go back to the butter. Oh my gosh, that is such a different feeling. It's so crazy. It's like two different worlds. We're gonna go ahead and end the session right there, because if I don't stop right now, I'm gonna wanna have another session on my actual scooter and start sending some bigger tricks after being pretty tired, honestly, from working all day and then hopping on this razor scooter and trying to see what we can do. But overall, I'm so happy that I found that thing in the dumpster right next to the property we were mowing, and I gotta bring it home, fix it up, throw some Rapture grips on it, throw some bar extenders in it, and we got some Flairs on, we got some buttercups, we got some bris. Pretty much everything on my checklist that I wanted to do, I got done on it. I wasn't for sure if the Flair was gonna happen, but it happened. I had so much fun today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, please give me a big old thumbs up, and maybe go comment down in the comments down below and let me know of a video idea that you guys want to see in the future. I'm always looking through those comments, so if you guys comment something good, you know I'm going to be responding to you guys. But that's going to do it for today's video. I will catch you guys in the next one. Later.